All right, welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. So I've been sitting here actually waiting for the show so I can press the go live button. So anyway, I'm very honored today because actually, when I come to think about it, when I'm doing this show, I did a few times already. I need to look for thesaurus for the words honor, privilege, and thank you all the kind of different stuff to explain the same thing. So anyway, thanks for coming in to watch the show, guys. So what's happening today? We are going to be talking about. Hold on. We are going to be talking about right. So we're talking about the dirty business owners, their tips, their tricks. What do they do to do dirty stuff? Right. So you'll be able to identify dirty tricks that may be used by unethical business owners for right and wrong reasons. So in this live interview, I'm gonna chat with my guest, Gerald Kong. So he's the #1 best-selling author of these two books over here. So later we're going to talk a little bit about these two books as well. So this you're going to find out about what are the tricks that's essential for business survival, whether that is gray, legal. It's going to be fun, man. It's going to be fun. All right. So with that being said, that's a very short intro about what this whole show is going to be about today. So I thank guys stick around for the show, and we will be chatting with him on live real soon.
Not a smooth talker under pressure. Sweaty palms ain't making it much better. Something about you feels so special. Pretty over from the minute that I met you.
And we're done. So now we're going to bring up Mr. Gerald Kong onto the show. Hey, Gerald. Oh, hold on. Let me just bring on the show. Yes.
Hey, Asher. Hey. How are you, man? Good evening.
I'm good. Good evening. So thanks for coming on the show, man.
Not at all. It's an honor.
Yeah. So, hey, man, I'm loving your background. It's kind of like, you're like the mysterious aura around you. There's just like a soft glow behind you. The only thing that's differentiating you is just that white earpiece. That's the only thing that's a little bit different.
I wanted a black earpiece, but these days, you can't simply travel too much, so I'm stuck to my Samsung handphone piece. Just plug it into my laptop, and here I am, man.
All right. So, hey, thanks for coming on a Friday night. So, guys, we have like 6,000 of you guys watching online. Not really, but yes, thank you. I just see every number is 1,000, whatever. Thanks for coming in. So, guys, feel free to leave a comment below. Just say hi. So we just have a chit chat. We're gonna be chit chatting with Gerald. So just feel free to say hi, leave a comment, share with people so that we can have a chat with him, right? So who's Gerald? Gerald is actually a #1 best-selling author in Amazon and bookstores for 2 books, which I think we'll talk a little bit about. But Gerald is he's all the way from Malaysia actually. So of these books that he's talking about, just before we started, we were talking about should we talk about Singapore, Malaysia, and differences? But I'm thinking, what's actually in his books, right? It's pretty much about the human psychology, how humans behave. And when it comes to dirty business owners, it doesn't necessarily just have to be in some countries. They're basically all around the world. And we are here to learn from him about how can we protect ourselves from all these unethical business people, right? So that's a very long rant for just a little short description. So Gerald, maybe I can pass the time over to you, man. Maybe just share with us, what are you doing recently, especially now it's a Friday night, man.
Well, these days we lose track of time, as in you tell me Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. I think for almost 2 months plus, I sometimes I don't even know when is it, what day is it also, I don't know, but I'm aware that it's either lunchtime, dinner time, order delivery time, where to order, play with the kids time, and time for Zooms, time for Facebook Live. This is more of a way of life these days. And I appreciate the fact that you bother to look at some titles and check out some old friends like me, what we've been up to, and and that's why I say on a Friday night it's quite fun that we choose this day and time. And most people, I don't know what they're doing now. It used to be clubbing, Saturday night. Well, how would your Friday night be normally before these things? What would it be, actually?
The Friday nights would have been just me at home playing Dota. That's it. I'm lifeless that way.
I think Friday nights for me used to be, I think, a night that I'm going easy on myself, looking forward for a nice dinner with my family, then slowly easing down to perhaps something on Netflix or something new, something fresh on TV. Maybe at times we go out for dinner. That would be what we do on a Friday night. But these days things have changed a lot. So maybe some of us have good habits. I don't know whether it's a good habit. I've been ensuring that I walk around the house. Making sure that I walk as much as possible. In terms of my Samsung, I ensured, the Samsung, you have how many steps? So I make sure I have 10,000 steps. Apparently 10,000 steps is, 7.73 kilometer. I think thereabouts.
Okay.
Not
Around
too
there,
sure.
around there.
If
you
you
still
watch,
walk?
I walk. I do make sure I try to start certain habits so that you don't feel that during this time you wasted this time. I guess, in a way, I'm just tricking my own mind.
Okay.
And as you brought up this book, I would say that the very first book which all started was because my co-author, it wasn't me, my co-author, he said that, Gerald, have you ever wondered how, based on your experiences, because I do share with him some stories, what happened when I was in UK, I was working, and some of my experiences. It was work related, because my previous work involved ensuring people are paying tax to a large extent, and how some of them, they manage to evade tax and they get away with it. So it's quite shocking. But we know their trick. It's just that we don't have enough evidence to prosecute them. So because of that, he said, why not you share those stories? Therefore, it doesn't matter you're a Singaporean or Malaysian, and some of, in fact, the tricks in those books were in UK, by whether the English or the Europeans. So that's why we came out with this, what you call short stories, because I'm very inspired by Jeff Archer. Though I like his books, so I've been reading his books. I'm one of his biggest fans, I would say. And I wanted to write from the angle, whereas my partner, my co-author, wanted to write more from a reporting style. That is what. So we all agree that I write maybe 5 to 6 short stories. You write 5 to 6 reports. So together we came up with a book. And it came quite timely when he talked to me, because my father was also a book author. Unlike me, he was really selling loads of books, because he was writing school textbooks in Malaysia, it's called Form 1, Form 2, Form 3. And after he passed away, we my mother kind of depended on the royalties from the book to survive, to put my sisters through her education, tertiary education, and even send her abroad. So although I didn't really get to know my father, I was probably like 6 years old, hardly 7 before my father died. And I thought, maybe at least I could do something similar. But I knew that unlike him, I won't be selling like millions of books and leaving a lot of royalties for my family per se. But one of the tricks, that my co-author, Mr. S.L. Ong, for the first book, did say that, you notice that when you talk, you're just telling grandmother, grandfather stories. No one really give a flip one. No one really respect you. But if you bother to put it in a book and, you get it published, then people will respect, you're not just, so-called blowing water, Chinese say 吹水, So I say, yeah. But the thing is that is one trick, which means you want to be an authority, you want to be heard, you do get a book done. But then the discipline to make sure you can write a book, must be there. And I would say, Mr. John S.L. Ong, thank you for being my co-author, because with him, there's a sense of accountability to complete the book, because you feel bad, you promise someone something. So we keep each other in check, and we completed the book in that sense. So that was the first book. And I put the same trick to make sure the second book, that is a reverse of the title, Ugly Lies, Pretty Truth, is written by my other co-author, Sek Jin Han, which is also my partner in business too. So we use that as a trick. And how we got to number 1, this is the tricky part. My publisher told me that you need to know when to publish the books. If you just wait for all the top authors to release certain books and their sales start to drop, that's when you go inside. Now, this one, is it unethical or not? It's really up to you to think. But it's just like in the sales of everything, like even you're talking about cinema, movies, you must know when to release, right? If you're releasing your movie be during the time where some Jackie Chan movies or some Dwayne Johnson movies is at the same week, right? You are in trouble. So it's a bit of that trick. So to me, that one's not unethical, but it's more like being smart lah. So he gave good advice. So he released at the same time when the books by Robin Sharma dropped. Steve Jobs' autobiography. It came out, So then the sales dropped. So we went in at that time. So I think it was great timing. It went to number 1. So once it goes to number 1, there is this little trick again that someone would like to know, especially a local author, how in the world a Malaysian author, a local author can be number 1. And, in the top 10 list, you can see that Steve Jobs is number 2, the Robin Sharma number 3, and even Richard Branson had a book during that time. He was probably number 7 and all that. So it's probably very impressive in that sense.
It is.
That's one of the things we did. So it got to number 1. But till today, I don't really know how we got to number 1 on Amazon. So it beats me. I really don't know how. And that one's without the help of my my publisher, because your publishing online has got nothing much to do with the publisher. It was more of what my co-author did. Maybe he had certain strategy, but he didn't get into the details. Maybe if you want, you can always interview him. He's based in Australia now. He can always set up another show like this on a Friday night. You probably start earlier, or if this time it's probably 10 p.m. for him. So you can also, I can introduce you to him. Yeah.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So so with regards, anyway, thanks guys for sticking on to the show. We have like 9,000 of you guys right now. Yes, every one of you is 1,000 person. So yes, thank you so much for tuning in. And also for if any of you have any questions, any comments, right? So please feel free to go to the website below, ashao.com/ask. That simply just brings you to the right Facebook place to put in your comment, to leave a comment. So you can just say hi to Gerald. If some of you already know who Gerald is, just say hey, so he knows you're watching together with us. So coming back to this, one question with regards to your books that we have, I think I was looking through a little bit some of the books itself, right? When it comes to business owners, something about business owners that we need to learn how we can detect them as liars to protect ourselves as well, right? You share a little bit about how to see, hear, and feel them. Can you just share a little bit about that?
Okay, so I'm not going to cover on the aspect of NLP, because when it comes to see, hear, and feel, this one you ask the NLP expert, they will definitely give you something, I would say, more scientific. But if you ask me this question, see, hear, and feel, all I can say is this, usually when someone keeps going on and on and on, they talk more than you talk, right? And they seems to be doing all this name dropping, that they know a lot of people, they are so and so and all that. That is something to listen out for. Because why? Why are they trying to prove something? Why must they prove to you? What are they trying to do? Because unfortunately, I come across people like this, and eventually either they're definitely not straight. If you ask me why, probably they are so full of themselves, right? You must understand, most con men don't realize they are con men, Sure. They don't. They are not born to say that, okay, today I'm going to be a con artist. They don't do that. Most people, they are just full of themselves. They are constantly thinking and talking, but they're not listening. So that is one way to listen out to people who talks a lot about their plan, then they are doing name dropping, they will always brag, and then all that. But after all the bragging and how great they are, strangely, they still ask you to invest in them or do something with them. I mean, that is when a typical comment is talking,
Okay, so I got to make sure that I don't talk so much, just in case I'm viewed as that. But in any case, we have so Sai is saying, hey, Gerald.
Hey, man.
So yes, and then we also have
Andrew. Yeah,
Andrew. Yeah, and we have Edmund. So we have quite a few people tuning in.
Hey, all right, man. This is our little space. Me and Asher, man. You guys are in. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Welcome to our
Friday.
Yes, exactly.
You know what? Exactly. I bet they are multitasking as well.
I wouldn't blame them.
Yeah, all these Zoom calls that we have, everyone is like very attentive over there. So when you say about what to look out for, when people are not paying attention, you can see they are looking at the what, but then their eyes keeping left and then right,
Yeah.
and then they go in front a bit. They're actually typing and either playing games or sending email
Yeah.
messages. Let me
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So back to your question about when someone is really up to no good, they will be full of themselves. They'll be talking and because why? They are very concerned as in whether they are able to impress you, whether they're able to buy your trust in the shortest time possible. So that's one way to detect. Just now you say, oh, you better stop talking, right? But you see, the difference between you and a typical con artist is that you weren't doing name dropping. You weren't saying things to assure me that you are good. You get what I'm saying? Whereas a typical person who's up to no good, they will be dropping names all the time. They will always ensure you that their past history, they were great, They will say things purposely. It's quite deliberate, right? You can listen in between the lines. They will say things like, for example, I'm trying to pull one on you. Actually, when I was in the corporate, the CEO there, right? I used to da. Really? Why do I need to know whether you're a CEO or not? I mean, I would know. I can go to LinkedIn and all that. Why must you drop titles like this and experience like this, you see? So to the amateurs, maybe they think that, wow, this guy really is CEO. But then you have to ask yourself, why is he talking like this? Or why is she talking like this? Do I need to know? Or why? It sounds a bit like bragging, but if you ask me, this person's lack of security. Why they lack of security? Because they want to pull a fast one on you, or they're up to no good. So that's what I would hear for. In terms of seeing, the thing is this.
Here, Teresa agrees with you. She says a great job over there. Keep it going, man. Keep it going.
You know what? You notice S.Y. Kong and Teresa Kong, they all have my surname because they are my cousins.
It's a small circle coming here together.
Yeah. So yeah, probably on a Friday night, they want to catch up with their cousins. So probably this is a good place to catch up with them. Well, to them, I would say, hope that you are safely at home with the family, with the loved ones, because your loved ones are also my loved ones in that sense. So yeah, back to what I was saying. So in terms of seeing, I am not an NLP expert, because some NLP experts will say if they look to the left, to the right, and all those things, that's what will happen. Some people talk too fast, talk too slow. As I said, I'm not an expert in that area. But what you hear is typically they are full of themselves, right? And in terms of feelings, I can share a bit. When someone tries to make you feel very, very uneasy, right? Because they're so full of themselves, which means your gut feelings is telling you this person is sending the wrong vibes to you, right? So that's one possibility, that this person is up to no good. The other one is this person makes you feel so good, you feel elated, you feel excited. Then you better not make any decision when you're emotional, because that is a state of emotion. If I were you, if this person asks you to commit or anything, you better take 2-3 steps back and say, I'll get back to you later. Because this even happens when some good salesperson trying to talk to you and trying to impress you, right? Be objective about it. You just buy time for yourself. Go and think about it carefully. So yes, in terms of, I wouldn't say liars, it's more than liars, These days, people can lie. You don't even know, because so-called psychologically, the dangerous part is liars may not know that they are lying one, They sincerely buy their own lies, The so-called the amateur liar, you can spot. You just matter of consistency of stories. We learn about, these basic things like, whether he's consistent or not, or she's consistent. You can detect whether this person is lying. That one is the amateur ones. But the more professionals one, right? The professional con artists, it's not about lying anymore. It's really about trying to sell a story to you, or asking you to buy their story or their hope that they're selling, and they also believe in it, right? And then you must think also, in that book of mine, you must understand that some people who so-called try to con you, they are not the mastermind behind it. So they were probably fooled by someone too. Maybe there's someone behind, a seafood behind. So they sincerely believe in the same story too. Like people who are involved in money game. Do you think that They believe it's a money game, that's why they get involved. I'm saying there are some people who don't care, they really don't care. But most people do care, right? Do care about their reputation and all that.
Yeah, true.
So let's say you are my boss. I totally believe what you say. I'm mesmerized by you. So which means you are telling lies. But I believe in your lies. So when I tell my friend or my cousin over here, Teresa, when I tell Tessie about it, Tessie wouldn't know I'm lying because I totally buy that story, right or not? Maybe when Tessie tried to make me up, saying, Gerald, you better be careful. It sounds too good to be true and all that. And then my Sifu told me that there will be cousins and relatives who will tell you that don't believe in this dream. You know why? Because they're jealous, you know. Then that's when the problem is. So I think we have to be careful. It's more than liars because the person who tells you the story, they sincerely believe in it. So you have to, you have to really see and ask yourself, you know, buy time to think, talk to friends. Why is that person trying to impress you? Why? What for? You know, what's the agenda? The other reason or the other type of people who would impress you is because they really don't have what it takes. They feel very insecure. All right, really, they feel insecure. That's why they have to do that. They have to say this. They have to drop names and all that. So these are very consistent stuff. This is a bit from neuroscience, you know.
Wow, bro, you are sharing so much good stuff, man. Appreciate it, man. So like, Gerald just saying, which his surname was Kong too. Hey, thanks so much, Gerald. Joseph. I gotta read your names right, otherwise I won't have people tuning into my show. So
this guy Thomas Joseph is my college mate, we are buddies, you know. So he will say whatever to me, and him used to talk a lot of nonsense to impress girls those days, you know. That's my partner in crime. You also don't believe him, I tell you.
That's not a wrong reason, man. It's always a good idea to learn how to impress girls, you know. That's not a bad thing to do. So good stuff. Anyway, so there's when it comes to business itself, I think because you're sharing, there's all this I know we're kind of just moving a little bit. So with all, you're sharing a lot of good stuff. I'm actually learning a lot. So when it comes to like ethical issues in business, right? I think we're also facing, like, for example, business around the world. There's always, because it's always managed by people, and that person itself, we need to detect whether this person is ethical or not ethical. But you were talking a little bit about, you know, there's some 4 stratagems from your book itself about decoy, delusion, deception, distraction. What do you mean by these?
Okay, so my co-author, SL Ong, he loves to attend all this training, you know, by all these motivational speakers. So this one, I didn't come up with this, to be honest.
Okay.
They always come up with the 4 A's, 4 B's, 4 C, 4 X. In this case, are the 4 D's. Okay. But I did ask him, I say, what, you know, in fact, terms like stratagems, it all came from me. For me, strategy, what gems, you know, strategy. But he will point words together like this. That's very much of him. That's why I like working with him to a certain extent. Yeah. So he told me this. He said, decoy. Some people use decoy, which means they put up a front. Yeah, they put up a front to impress people. This one you can't say is ethical or unethical. I think actually to a large extent, you know, if you're with the business community in Singapore, you will notice that when some businessmen say that, since I want to make sure that my clients think that I'm really stable, therefore I buy a Mercedes-Benz, I buy a BMW, I buy a Maserati, and so on and so forth in the Continental car list. Yeah. What are you trying to do? In a way, you know, I'm not saying it's a typical decoy, but people are trying to put up a front so that, you know, when you have that front, people will think that, wow, he's stable. But this one is not really true, because smart people will tell you this. Smart clients or even smart suppliers, we are suppliers ourselves, so we do discuss, you know, this client is buying a brand new 7 Series BMW. That's when, as suppliers, when we exchange notes, we will say that, hey, you be careful, you know. This joker, he's going to be like overspending, you know. For all we know, it is the credit limit that we are giving them. They use it as a cash flow, and they're going to buy fancy cars with it, you know. Wow. I rather deal with someone who is more honest, down to the ground, make sure that suppliers are paid first before they talk about even buying a fancy car or recon car, you know. So that is a form of decoy. But then I talk to some friends who are financial planners, you know. They are encouraged by their so-called bosses or agency manager to invest in a car to show that you are successful, so they buy from you. I personally don't quite buy that. Personally, if you ask me, my insurance agents who come to me, if they want to sell a policy to me, I don't really know. I don't really care what car you drive. In fact, if you drive a fancy car, I would probably think that, wow, this person is trying to sell me a big, big policy, which I don't even have the money to pay. And then if I say I want to start small, so I feel paiseh, this guy is a big timer, Really, even though if you're successful, you're MDRT, you're COT, you're TOT, right? To me, sorry to all my friends who are in a financial planning life, honestly, as a consumer, I don't give a flying flip. Right? I only care how much you care for me. I really don't care what car you drive on. I don't mind if you just started out, as long as you're sincere. Even you cycle to my house or you walk to my house and you're sweating all over, you need some help and you think that it's something good for me, you're sincere enough, I will buy. So in that sense, that's what my co-author said, that's in terms of decoy. So in the book, I wrote about a story, which is a real story. You know that, I don't know about you, this one I noticed Singaporeans, they do this a lot. I'm not saying you guys are kiasu, but it's quite normal because in psychology, one of the law of influencing is known as the law of social proof. Yeah, it's called law of social proof. Is it true that in Singapore, when you go to a food court, you guys go everywhere, there are nice food courts everywhere, yeah? And chicken rice Singapore is arguably, I don't know, probably people from Ipoh will not like me. I'm kind of from Ipoh, so I can say that to me, Singapore chicken rice is better than Ipoh chicken rice. Yeah?
Okay, on behalf of Singaporeans, thank you so much.
But then my cousins all will kill me for that. Now, after MCO, we talk about that one. Yeah? Now you can't even come to my place. Yeah? Now, the thing is this. Do we agree that Singaporeans will see the one with the longest queue, you will assume that is the best chicken rice? Generally, I mean, let's talk about chicken rice. Anything, the longest queue will make a person curious and they will also fall into the line.
Yeah.
Fall in line. They do that, right? Apparently, it's called social proof. You know why? Because you think about it, let's say I definitely don't live in Singapore, but whenever I go to Singapore, I too will follow the one with the longest queue. I assume that if Singaporeans are queuing up for this, then must be something good. So when we talk about decoy, some people do place so-called people who queues up one, they pay people to queue up, Maybe it's a new restaurant or it's a new hawker shop or hawker store. If you want people, right, you just go and ask 10 of your cousins over here, stand there, right? Stand there, and then after they got the food, ask them to stand again from the back. You will attract a lot of people. So again, this is very psychological. So how many people are using this sort of tricks? We don't know. But ethical or not, I won't say it's unethical, but the line is pretty gray. Yeah, the line is very thin and it's a very gray area. So that's decoy. All right. Delusion. So when you talk about delusion, this one, my co-author wrote a story on delusion. How and I also I wrote this story too. This ATM machine. ATM machine. There's ATM machine where you withdraw money out. There's also cash deposit machine where you deposit cash inside. Right? There was this case where some jokers they use it's a simple front that you can actually create the look of a cash deposit machine one. You can so-called, there's a term for it you can.
So they made
Yes. They make a so-called something that looks like
so they make a mimic version, a counterfeit version, right?
A replica, of a cash deposit machine, right? And as you know, in UK, and I'm not sure about Singapore, but in UK, it is possible that for convenience purposes, cash deposit machines are everywhere, even in small villages. So it's convenient. So there's this syndicate who would place all these replicas of cash deposit machine with basic functions over there, especially back in the 90s and early 2000s. How sophisticated cash deposit machines are, right? Not everything is online. So there are people who place that. So there's this delusion that, this is the real thing. You think that it is a real machine. So people deposit money there, but actually it didn't go to your account or whoever you're banking to. So that was one story because it was based on a real incident that happened. And I think in some funny American videos, funny videos and all that, they do cover people talking about this type of delusion that they have created. So that is in terms of delusion that I could remember from the book. In terms of deception, all right, deception, this one is, I think this is not a gray area. This is definitely unethical. You're out there to deceive people. Yeah? There is, and this one is, the story that I'm sharing now is very, it's more on tax evasion. All right. Now, I'm not trying to put people or trying to accuse people who runs a bridal studio as people who are laundering money. But they're deceiving the government. What they do is that the deception that they, in terms of deception, is this. Yeah. Do you know that bridal studios, like, I don't know, in Singapore, how much do you charge? Let's say I'm about to get married, you know, or I'm trying to take an anniversary photo with my kids, you know. How much is the typical package? Going there, take photos, you come up with those nice fancy albums, then I get to rent the gowns and all those things, the pre-wedding stuff. How much is it?
Well, bro, you're asking a guy who has never been married, not even attached, man. So I'm guessing, based on what I recall from some of my friends, it's roughly around the 4,000-5,000, around there, or probably higher. Definitely they'll be higher, but around, I think around there should be quite a safe range. I may be very wrong. I'm just lying. So let's see. We have yes. Jeremiah says a lot of money. Yeah, so it's about 6 to 10.
Andrew D'Souza would also know because he got married not too long ago. Over here, 6 to 10K Sing dollar. In Malaysia, it's also the same, all right, in terms of ringgit. And it can even go up to 20, 30K. But let's say, let's take a ballpark figure, 10K. Yeah. Now, again, I'm not trying to say that it's not worth that money. You guys are overpricing it and all that. But I'm talking about those people who are unethical, who are up to no good. There was this, in fact, I would say there was this case. A lot of cases, they do use this as a front. So in the book, there was this story about a bridal studio. In the bridal studio, what happened is that there was this particular studio who would insist on this is the sum of money. Probably every week, you have 2 couples walking in. So technically speaking, there should be, in terms of transaction, it's only 20,000. Am I right? Yeah. But they would declare there were probably a dozen customers, which means another 10 customers were there. So they would declare it's 120,000, the turnover for that week. Right? Now, why would they do that? They do that because the other 100,000 is from illegal activities. They obtain that fund from, I don't know, illegal gambling, pimping, I don't know, selling drugs or whatever. That's how they launder the money. And you see, you think about it, right? We were having difficulties trying to so-called prove that they were doing this. Because why? If you run a restaurant, and if you run a restaurant, let's say your turnover per week is 10,000 too. But 10,000, you have to prove, at least you still have to prove that there's some material cost one, you know. You have to prove how many chicken you slaughter, you know, even you buy syrup for a drink, so that's a trail, you know. Whereas you think about it for bridal studio, I can easily say that, oh, 12 couples came in. What's the proof? Nothing to prove, but just take photo of where got proof one. You want photo of proof? Cannot lah. All these are PNC. Why should I keep photos of a marriage couple, you know, unless I get explicit permission? And if we got these 2 couples give us permission to share, the rest, well, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that wasn't the wife, that was the mistress or the girlfriend or something. Don't ask us this type of question. They can easily say that, you know. So you don't have to prove how much is your cost. And since those bridal gowns, whether you wear 1 time, wear 10 times, the cost is the same, right? It's the gown, right? It's the suit that the bridegroom wears anyway. So you think about it, these are the type of things that they're deceiving the government. This is a very serious offense, especially back in UK. But people successfully pull this out of tricks, very dirty ones.
Wow.
In other words, they are laundering money. Yeah. This is one of the story that is shared. This is I remember very well because I wrote this story because it happens. Yeah. And the other one, distractions.
Speaking of a book, I think Andrew's still looking forward to getting a book with your autograph.
You didn't even buy my book, Andrew. Don't talk, you know. Didn't even buy my book, come on. He's probably saying that because he wants a free book, Okay, can for old times they can, Andrew. Yeah. Now, back to distraction. Distraction is this. Again, it happened to me. This is more on one example of distraction, but it's not in the book. Yeah. Can you believe, Asher? I was robbed twice in Paris.
I'm not surprised.
In the same trip. When I say the same trip means I bought a return ticket. I still remember it was SIA. It was SIA. Yeah. I flew via Singapore to Charles de Gaulle Airport, and then I met up with my girlfriend. Then I went back to UK, and I had another 6 months in UK to make sure my girlfriend then finished her studies. And she graduated, and then I went back to Paris to take the same flight back. I mean, in terms of it's a return flight. So when I was there, all right, when I was there, this is what happened to me. Yeah? When I was there, I entered the MRT, the tube, the underground. Yeah? The minute I entered with my girlfriend there, 3 gentlemen entered at the same time, and one of them pretended to drop their lighter. All right, and when he dropped the lighter, he bent down and he started to kind of feel my legs, just like searching for it. So all this happened in in seconds, and in a couple of seconds. That's all. And then apparently during that time, even my girlfriend then had a shock, like what's happening, And before the door closed, they exited, and they took my. I was big enough to put a wallet on my left side. So basically, I was very distracted with him searching me, because he's been like, what in the world is happening, right? And he apparently the other guy stood beside to slit his hand and took out the wallet. My Malaysian IC was there. My driving license was there. Okay, cash wasn't a lot, because luckily I put it in another bag, and some back in a hotel. The third one was there to just check out whether there are cops or whether there are many people or not. And then they just that way. Yeah, look out. So 3 of them gang up that way. So that was the case. So immediately we went to the police station, we lodged a police report, and we just told them what happened. And then the police, the French police was like, yeah, this happens all the time. If you think our Malaysian police officer have this tidak apa attitude, sorry, my friend in France, they too probably have worse attitude. It's like, this is just another day, no big deal. Just get out of here. So I had a police report. The police report states very clearly I have lost my Malaysian IC, and I've also lost my Malaysian driving license. Thank God I still have my Malaysian passport. So when I got to UK, I went to the Malaysian embassy, and the Malaysian embassy said, no rush, you don't really need an IC in UK, neither do you need a driving license. You're not really driving here, When you get back to Malaysia, the first thing you do is to report and get it done. In the embassy here, you don't really have to do it. I think they also don't want to go through the hassle, try to tai chi me off. Okay. And so what happened was, the return trip, I was at Charles de Gaulle Airport. I took a different flight, and that time, because it was my girlfriend's graduation, her parents went over, so they took another flight instead. So we were supposed to meet in. They landed first, and I landed about 6 hours later. Pick up my bags. I'm supposed to meet them in a hotel in the center of Paris. But what happened is that in the airport itself, I was pushing, those trolleys, the typical trolleys that you get in Changi too. You put your bags there, and being a bit lazy, I even left my all my bags there. My 3 bags are just all there. Yeah? Okay. My police report, my passport, my wallet, everything basically was in that third bag. So as long because to me, it's that as long as it is right in front of me, I can see what can go wrong, right? So I was pushing the trolley, my bags were right in front of me, and then suddenly what happened is that I didn't even realize what happened. To be honest, I didn't realize at that point in time, I didn't realize what happened. So suddenly, I was searching for where's my wallet? Because I need to grab my wallet to pay for the cab and things like this, right? Then it's like, did I drop my bag? What happened? Then I went back to the toilet there, I was searching exactly, retracing my steps and all that. And it's gone, It's like the other 2 bags were there, but the smaller bags that contain all the important documents and the cash, all gone, Wow. So what happened was, I went to the airport police and told them that. Then they asked me straight away, did anyone bump into you just now? Then I was like, did anyone bump to me? Yeah, actually come to think of it, someone used another trolley to kind of hit me from the back. So if you are pushing a trolley, let's say in Changi Airport or any airport for the matter, when someone nudged you quite hard, it kind of almost hurt your legs. Would you turn back?
Definitely.
Naturally, right? That was when the other person in the front grabbed my bag.
Alamak.
Right? So the thing is that And then I went to make a police report now. The police report have to state that I've lost my passport, I lost my credit card, I've lost this and that. I have lost that police report that contains the report that says that my IC and my driving license is gone too. That's how crazy it is. And people say, like, lightning don't strike the place twice. For me, definitely it did lah. So this is, damn sway. Yeah, definitely damn sway lah. Damn sway, So that's what happened. But thank God, at least, my girlfriend and the family, they were there. They were there. So they assisted me and it kind of like comforted me. But you know what? They all left back to Malaysia. I was stuck there for 3 months, almost 3 months. Because when you lose everything like this, especially during that time, Malaysian passports were quite, so-called in the black market, it's worth quite a lot of money. And I went to the embassy in Paris, and I was even asked to sing Negaraku and all that to prove, them pathetic, to prove that I'm a Malaysian, And again, they were very strict, and they said they will investigate it and blah, 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 blah. And they said, you better not go anywhere, you better stay put here, and we will investigate this. I don't know whether they're hinting that I should pay them something and all that. I just didn't even have the money to pay. I just had enough to make sure that I can stay for that few months. So besides Malaysia, besides UK, I would say Paris is the third country that I stayed the longest because of unfortunate circumstances. So be careful. Distraction can happen anytime. People will trick you. That one was very physical, Asher. There are things like people will distract you all the time, even in a negotiation. I keep you distracted while talking to you. Let's say I'm trying to buy a property off you. If I want to distract you, very simple. All I have to make sure there's a commotion behind me, there's some noise and phone calling in non-stop. I pretend to be talking on the phone. Someone wants to buy the property. Those are those cheap tricks. That happens all the time. These are among many other distractions. So I don't know, these are considered old tricks, but you know what? Chinese, there's a saying, tricks, it doesn't matter old or new. As long as there's a sucker born, they will buy it. So I strongly believe, some people say times are not so good. When times are not so good, all these 4D will multiply by 100 times. There will be a lot of people pulling this stunts to survive, sadly speaking. Yeah.
Wow, I think what you shared just now, there are so many of these. I was going to ask you what some unethical business practices, but you covered a whole bunch already. So this is like so much stuff that you cover before I even get into it, man. So I appreciate it. Guys. So for those who are watching, guys, I appreciate you guys for sticking around. So I think Jeremiah was saying he wanted a free book as well.
Okay, the truth is this, the book, as far as I know, maybe Kindle version is available. That's all. But the physical copy, hard copy, I will probably get the publisher to reprint again. If for some reason there's enough request, I would do it. No problem. But those days, we didn't print that many copies to start with. And for some reason, people probably like the title. It was a sold out. And the thing is this, the trick is this, Asher. Imagine you tell people, oh, that's my book, but you tell them this is available in the bookstore. Then they go to the bookstore and they try to look for it. Hey, but Gerald, it's sold out. They say sold out. Oh, is it? Oh gosh, I printed so many copies, also sold out, man. What is this, man? So it does sound impressive, but it's again a dirty trick. How you know? Like in a split second in this particular section itself, there are too many tricks. Even I'm pulling on you and vice versa and all that. So that's why, be careful. Dirty tricks are there all the time. And when Jeremiah is asking for the book and actually they don't mean it, they don't really mean what they say. they just say it only, that's all, just to entertain you only. So these are the things that you get all the time from your friends who try to make you in Barca. Say, best selling book, I'll pay for you, bro. Don't worry. I got printer here, can print score quantity. Okay, can Andrew. Anything you say. We'll make it happen. Yeah.
True. Okay. All right. So guys, thanks again. Stick around. Thank you so much for sticking around. Do remember to share this with your friends. Just share the video, like it, leave a comment. I appreciate all the different comments that's going on here. So also when it comes to but maybe we are like 40 minutes in already, 44 minutes in already. Time passes by, we're having fun, right? So you actually made a second book, actually, right? So you wrote a second book, so you were talking about it, and this is actually much more about your personal success in your journey in your global property investments for the past 2 decades. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Okay, so in a way, besides the title, we just turn it around, and basically the title came this way. I can't even remember the first book, who came up with the title of Pretty Lies, Ugly Truth, but both me and my co-author, we agree with the title because it has another meaning. Pretty, it could be, you read it as pretty, comma, lies, ugly truth, which means whatever is pretty, you be careful, there could be something ugly. Or it could also mean that when you tell pretty lies, be careful of pretty lies. There's something dirty also, right? Then, because of that, I was thinking if I'm writing a second book, might as well I try to make it consistent, at least the title. But in terms of the anger and there are no stories anymore. This is basically just a journey of as you put over here. It's more of an investment journey. It's a very personal journey. And when I wrote this book, I made it very clear to me, clear to my audience that my experience is my autobiography. It doesn't mean that by not following it, you won't be successful. There are a lot more people more successful than me. So just me and my business partner, I told him that, Jinhan, if you want people to take us seriously, we should also write a book. Why not we do that? It would be quite painstaking, but he's very strong in terms of facts and figures. So he was the one that put up everything that's very factual. So I just try to do my part to make it interesting by sharing my personal journey. So that is the book. And why we choose the title Ugly Lies, Pretty Truth, which means it's like almost the reverse of the first title, is because we realized, or rather I personally realized, that most of my property that I've been getting good rental yield and they've been doing well for me are not those fancy ones in Sheraton Way. Number one, I couldn't even afford, so let's not talk about it. But even if I could afford, you don't be surprised, those property may not be the one generating the best rental yield. I'm not talking about appreciation, but at least rental yield. Because I'm the type of investor who keeps for long term. I don't seem to have luck as the property guy when it comes to flipping. For some reason, I will miss that one. I'm either in a different country or I don't have the money and all that. So I would say I have better luck when it comes to consistency. So Ugly Lies, Pretty Truth, we realized that most properties of mine are the ones where, the not so good looking, the location is just like quite dirty as well, but there tend to be a lot of people staying there, students could be staying there. The normal person who wants to, it's not something you can boast about. It's not something that you can tell people, look, I got this thing in Shenton Way, I got this thing in KLCC, I got this thing in the Manhattan. It's nothing like that. It's something at the so-called, in some areas where just a student, you probably wouldn't even want to step into those areas, and those were making good returns for me and my partner. So that's why we try to say that, ugly things or ugly properties could have something pretty behind it. There could be a pretty truth behind it. So that's why we started of Ugly Lies, Pretty Truth. So that journey basically is a bit about a bit of background and how I started, innocently started. Those days there was no such thing as property guru or consultant, anything like that. There was just the very typical real estate agent. Full stop. You buy or you buy directly from the developer. Nothing complicated whatsoever. There were no creative schemes offered by developers. No easy down payment and all those things. So yeah, this is what we do. Yeah, this friend of mine. Actually, you be careful. His name is Lai Ken Kwan. This guy, he's a legal worker in Singapore. He comes from my school. He's supposed to be locked up in a hostel, but I do not know why the Singapore government allows him to roam around freely, buying alcohol and all that. I also don't know what's wrong. Yeah. So when he say go for quantity and not quality, he's probably referring to alcohol too. I don't know about him. Yeah. But on a more serious note, yes, I agree with him. So to us, it was like, instead of buying like a 15 or 20 million Sing dollar property in Sentosa one, which means you're putting all eggs in one basket, maybe consider buying something that is 500,000-600,000 Sing dollar, buy maybe 20-30 units of those instead. So maybe that's what Lai is trying to say, which I truly agree. So it's the same for us. I mean, people like me, I would say, I don't mind admitting, I'm not someone that could afford to buy a 20 million Sing dollar property. I wouldn't have the cash, number one. And number two, even if I have, I wouldn't put everything there. Unless my net worth is way more than that, 5 times over and all that. But if you ask me as an investor, that's not really the smartest move. No investor would put all the eggs in one basket. Yeah. That is the book journeys, what happened and how we got to today up to this point, and even says that we wish to work with who are the people that we wish to work with, to slowly grow this as part of our asset management business. So that one, we ensure that it's just a 90-minute book, because most people, they just want quick tips. They don't want all this grandmother story and all those things. So we make it simple, one sitting, 90 minutes. If you are taking a flight, from Changi to KL, by the time you queue up, by the time you wait, that book is just nice to read. After that, you can pass it on, you can put in the rubbish bin. No problem. So that one, as far as I know, it was not it wasn't like as a hotcake as the first book. Because I don't know, because this book is not about dirty tricks anymore. Therefore, it is a bit. I believe some bookstores are still having it. It didn't get to number 1 though. It got to number 2. Yeah. It got to number 2. Number 1, I still remember, is Tony Fernandez's book. He was there. He was a taiko. He was there, and we could have launched the book later, but I was talking to my partner. I said, no, we stick to our launch. I don't want to all this waste time because we got other things to do. So not to say we don't have other things to do. So just get it over with. So we got the book launch on October the 8th. Was my mother's birthday. 3 years back now. 3 years, time flies. 3 years back. So for whoever, now Andrew, you want that free book, that one we can talk, still available. Buy, don't buy that one's still available. I have some copies over here. That one we had a second edition too, because my co-author is my partner. We have time to edit it, and we got feedback a bit. We changed certain things, certain structure to make it easy. We don't use any funny jargons, very straightforward, down to earth. Whatever you read, you understand, that's it,
Okay.
So, that's what it is about.
Right. So what has actually, because since the book has been quite some time back, right? So what has changed since the book, especially now it is this time that we're living in? What has changed?
Okay, if you are referring to let's say the first book, let's talk about the first book. Tricks don't change, right? They just got more sophisticated, that's all. It's just got online. Like for example, some tricks. Recently there was this idiot. Do you get? I don't know whether you get this or not in your email. They say that we got your password now. We also have your Facebook link and all those things, and we caught you, doing naughty things, and you were watching porn sites and all those things. If you don't pay us, pathetically only asking for $2,000 in Bitcoin. So pathetic, So I got so ticked off, I bothered to respond to it, and I said something like, please go ahead and make me famous. I want to be a porn star like Alvin Tan, the Malaysian who went to Singapore and then created a lot of problems, right? Yeah, I actually answered that way, and I said, forget about 2,000. I had a few more zeros there, like that, So, of course, the mail bounced back. So therefore, people are more sophisticated because of this data that they have obtained. They, definitely more high tech than the time that we were doing that. And these days, they are. See, those days, the con men, the con artists, the fraudsters were very local. You do have physical contact, you do see them, you talk to them. This way, for all you know, is being automated. Even if it's not automated, it is from someone, definitely don't know how many thousand miles away in a different law, different jurisdiction altogether. So be careful, guys. It has just got more sophisticated in the sense. And because why? People evolve, tricks evolve, but the fundamentals are the same. That's why if you ask me, my co-author was right when he talks about the 4D. The 4D is still there. 4D is not the Magnum 4D, it's not the 4D. It's all these dirty tricks. So be careful. And in terms of the decoy, delusion, deception, it is still happening. Yeah. In terms of property investment, has it changed? Again, fundamentals never change. Right? It's just that, just like same, fashion changes, but people's weight is the same. Either you're fat or you're thin, or you're those things, the underlying things doesn't change. Right? So we are talking about, in terms of the second book, well, just the market got worse. Developers became more creative, and people talk about different strategy of investing. There are even stories where people don't don't even take out a single cent. You can even get cash back. So developers became very creative because why? As banks takes all these cooling measures, there will always be people who insist that the market hits up so that they can make a living. So all these things are still happening now, Asher.
I see. Well, in terms of that, I think Andrew was saying any book you write is priceless. So yeah, I think he wants to co-author with you already, man.
Thank you, Andrew. You think about it. Let me see what can we write on. Even if I cannot write a book with you, I will give you some stories to write on. I'm serious. Contact me. I will tell you. I will even introduce my publisher to you, and you can probably think about all this minimum quantity one. That one is good. That one is workable.
Okay, straight up, man. Andrew, just hit up Gerald. So he already gave you the go ahead already. Wow. Okay, guys, so we are coming to the hour. So time is passing by really quickly and having a lot of fun. There's so much stuff that I think Gerald has shared. Of course, this whole video will be up on this page as well for you to rewatch it if you want to. And this is from Jeremiah Book 3, Ugly, Pretty Ugly.
Okay, we think about that. Yeah. I was also thinking something along the lines of Pretty Ugly and Ugly Pretty. Yeah, something along like that. We think about it, Jeremiah.
Yeah, same. Okay, very cool. So got some book ideas already. You can play around. So maybe that's the same book that Andrew will use, and then you just subtext somewhere title inspired by Jeremiah. I don't know. Just thinking about.
We get Jeremiah to co-author with Andrew I will just be so-called the
forward.
The forward that's all. The forward and then make sure you thank me also. Under the gratitude page, you just thank me will do
Okay, that's very cool. Okay, guys, before we go, because again, guys, if any questions, guys, I know we're having a lot of conversation, a lot of fun over here, but if any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments below. All right, so that we can actually just we can let Gerald answer some of them. Okay, so if you are not sure where to go, again, just go to ashal.com/ask. That just simply goes to the right Facebook page. Okay, if your comments have already appeared, just carry on typing, and we will be able to show them up. So while people are still thinking about what they want to ask, if they want to ask any questions, so where can people go to find you, right? So I think if people want to go and find you, they can just simply head out to your website over here, Gerald Kong. So, but of course, let's say let me bring it up. So just bring this up over here. Yeah, like that. Okay. So you guys, you want to get Gerald's books itself. Okay. His first book is available on Amazon, and I do believe it's available on Kindle as well. But his second book, I think you need to get from his website directly. Correct me if I'm wrong. So if you are interested to find out more about Gerald, maybe he does a lot of good stuff. So just check him out on his website as well. Go to geraldkong.com. That's where you can reach him. Okay. Anything else you want to say, man?
Well, I can say that the Gerald Kong website originally belonged to a hairdresser or hairstylist in Singapore, based in Orchard Road. And then for some reason he forgot to renew. Then my PA at that time managed to lock it down. That's how I got a website about 10 years ago. I think maybe 8 or 10 years ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Guys, this is more of a friendly conversation between Asher and me, and we got a bit interested in the book. I said the book is not everything, but even that it's just more of an introduction and to get to know people better. And thank you for tuning in, and thank you for your time, Asher. Really appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Okay, so guys, again, once more, if you want to learn more about Gerald, just again feel free to head over to geraldkong.com. So I'm going to remove him the screen. Gerald, we'll chat in a bit after this. Okay, so guys, with that being said, thanks for tuning in. So check out go to his website, get his book. It's quite easy. It's fun to read, especially all different stories he has ongoing. So what are we doing over here actually? So Aspiring Everythinger that I created this whole channel is actually we're just a growing channel. Okay, so if you like what was shared today between me, Gerald, and all the other different people I've invited onto the show, I've got more interviews coming up with more experts, and they just want to share more stuff. So I also really appreciate all these interactions between me and you. Okay, so this is all fun. All of this will be available on the Facebook page as well as on YouTube. So do remember to check us out. Head over there, and before I go, so this is Jeremiah. Just wanted to show you this over there. If business fails for you, your fail-safe career is with a hairdresser. Okay, it could possibly work. All right. So with that being said, guys, thanks for tuning in, and we will be able to see. Just remember, follow us on the Aspiring Everythinger If you're on this page, you're already here, just hit the like button. And if you're on YouTube, just search for it. I'm still new. You could be the first few thousand, or maybe right now it's the first 100 for YouTube. Okay. So with that being said, that's it. And I'll see you in the next show. Thanks for coming in. See ya.
Not a smooth talker under pressure. Sweaty palms ain't making it much better. Something about you feels so special. Pretty over from the minute that I met you.